WDUP. It's your boy Mike Mitch Ill. And we got, you know what I mean? It's not to our family at this point, you know what I'm saying? We got Poe Leos up in this building, you know what I mean? Poe, what's up?
Yo, what's good, man? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, nah, our pleasure, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, last time we actually had you on the air, you was actually in studio. You know, let's talk
Yeah.
about your whole like New London experience. You know, I think it's your first time out here, if I'm not mistaken, you know, talk about that.
Yeah, it was very fun. I went to perform at a college performance.
College,
Very
I think.
fun.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think you was at College, and I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
You, yeah,
yes. It was amazing. I had fun. I loved it out there and it was great views. I love it out there. It's pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I'm
was a
trying to
good
think.
time.
I'm still trying to remember. Maybe you could help me with that, like the time of year, because I feel like you would love like New London, like during the warm month. You know what I mean? Late May into like mid October. Like it's the perfect time. Were you there for that, or was it brick when you was out here?
I think it was brick a little bit. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie. It was
brick.
like January, February, maybe
Yeah.
March, but like it was like right where it stopped getting as cold and it's starting to turn to spring, but it's still rainy. I think it was raining a lot when I went out there.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
College, man. Yo, if y'all listening, man, y'all gotta bring Poe back. Any plans to get back to the East Coast? You know what I'm saying? You worldwide over here, but like any plans upcoming?
I don't have exact plans right now, but I have always loved the East Coast. I do think possibly there could be something coming up in New York,
Mhm.
and that's this summer. So if you're out in New York, stay posted on what I'm doing. I may do a show there, and yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yo, and we gotta get you back in London. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is gonna be your
yeah,
second home one way or another. You feel me? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But
I'd
like,
love to. I'd love to come back.
and big up Country Chris, man. You know what I mean? Much, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Much love to him. You know what I mean? But like, yo, when you was in New London, like, what record were they responding to the most? You know what I mean? Where it was like, you know, everybody was jumping when you actually performed that record.
I feel like the audience in New London really liked my song "Cali." It's
Mhm.
it's like a rap reggaeton record, and it's just kind of like a fun party vibe. And I think when I played that one, it felt very much like we're all having fun now. We're dancing. It don't matter,
Wow.
it doesn't even matter as much. I feel like sometimes it's cool to disconnect from the fact that you're performing and to connect more with the fact that you're just enjoying a really good song.
Yeah. So
So
yo,
yeah.
and we gonna get into what's new, but like, I mean, that towers everything what I'm about to mention right now. Cypress Hill. You got the Cypress Hill record run. You know, let's talk
Yep.
about that, how that came about. And you know what I mean? Those some legends
Oh
over there.
man. It was by chance. Like one thing about your net worth, it's your network. We know that. So my network was what got me there. Meeting somebody who's always me on in the best rooms, and he's a really amazing producer who's kind of like single-handedly really running the ship when it comes to their new music at Cypress Hill. And so he brought me in and said, "I told them about you and said you're the new upcoming Mexican artist I need to work with." So just with that recommendation, they were down to put me on the album, and they used a song that I already had written, and they kind of reworked it. So like they used my hook and like vocals, and then they built their verses around that. So I thought it was even cooler because you don't always do that. Sometimes you do them in person with each other, but this is like their version of redoing my song. So it was lit.
That's dope. And I'm sorry, like the first part of your answer kind of got chopped up a little bit. Like, were you actually in studio with them, or like y'all were just kind of like, you know, emailing back and forth?
So the about DJ Flick showed them my music made with him, the
Mm.
producer, and he just played it for them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like she's hard." And I guess it came to a point where they're like, "Okay, what song does she
Oh,
have that was a song that I had made with?" They reconstructed my vocal already.
hey, Poe, we losing. It's live radio, folks. 929
Yeah,
WDUP. We'll be with Poe
yeah.
Leos. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I think we got you back. But you know, from what I gather, it's like they was actually, you know, they kind, you know, caught on to what you was putting out, and you know, they want to actually kind of Voltron up and actually work together. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes,
think that's a
yeah,
great look.
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so like, is there going to be a video for that record, or you know, any plans with that, or is it just going to be, you know, an album cut? You know, any word on that?
I really, really hope there's a video. I'm not sure
Yeah,
yet. I can't drop any spoilers because I don't know
nah,
anything myself.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I really hope there's a video because we're really gonna go crazy.
Hey, let's talk about like the Mexican music scene. You know what I'm saying? You're Mexican, Cypress Hill, Mexican. you know, let's talk about the Mexican music scene. Like, y'all feel like y'all get y'all just due, and it's like anybody else we need to be checking for. Like, kind of talk about that a little bit.
There's plenty of artists to be checking for. Like every day I turn around and there's a new Mexican artist, and which I
Mm,
think is really dope because we're kind of taking the bull by the horns, knowing that our genre is one of the biggest in the world right now.
mm.
So like I see youngins pop up every day, man. Like you can go on Instagram and you'll just find the next new artist just chilling on Instagram posting, and maybe in a year from then he'll be big because it's there's so much support on Mexican music right now. But I also think to highlight the fact and the difference between the world that Cypress Hill lived in and the world that I grew up in. Because although we're Mexicans, there's two different sides of the coin of like what style and what kind of way you're raised with your Mexicanness. And I feel Cypress Hill and me connecting is kind of merging the bridge between two ways of growing up, and I think that's super dope. So I'm just excited to showcase.
So yeah, so we gotta wait till like July 24th to hear that, or y'all gonna give some leaks, you know what I mean?
I don't
Everything
even
is
know
not
if that's,
scoop.
you know what I'm saying? I can't even say that I'm sure about July 24th. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
we're giving dates, but you never know really. It's all in the hands of Cypress Hill and the team,
Yeah.
and we're going to see what's going on with that.
Hey, but yo, you a youngin. Like, what did you know about Cypress Hill before you got into the game? You know what I'm saying? No, they
I'm going to
OGs
tell you
in.
the I'm gonna tell you the truth. I did not grow up listening to Cypress Hill, but one thing I always did as a youngster is I remember songs playing around me, and I had
Mm,
heard Cypress Hill's most famous song around me, in places that were maybe not my home. So just like hearing them and finding out how monumental they were to the Chicano rap scene and like the Mexican rap scene, and then figuring out about it when I was like later in my teenage years, that's when
mm.
I really started finding out about them. So it was honestly even so much more a blessing that I wasn't necessarily an OG fan, but I became a fan and I got on a song with them. So I think that's really dope.
So yeah, so yo, we over here with Poe Leos, Poe in the building now to now. Like, yo,
Yo,
other than Cypress Hill, like, yo, talk about some of your favorite collabs you've done thus far.
I really enjoy working with my co-producer Stanley Randolph on my beats. Like that's my main collab that you'll 100% see for the rest of my life. Is Stanley Randolph. He's an amazing drummer, and he always brings a bit of like club to my music. But also, other than him, I've worked with Julieta Venegas, who she's a really big Mexican legend in like pop music when it comes to alternative pop and Mexican music. And I've also, worked with the likes of like K-pop girl groups like XG. I wrote their biggest song. It's called Shooting Star. And
Mm,
like, yeah, it's just like the world has brought me to insane places. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I have a song out featured with this rapper named Lafta. She's from out there and she actually resides in London. And I
man.
don't know. Yeah, there's plenty of other artists I'm probably totally forgetting about, but it's been a
Yeah.
fun ride so far.
Yeah, I mean, talk about your range. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you go to trap, to Chicano music, to K-pop. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
American pop. Like, talk about your range as a songwriter and as actual artist yourself. Talk about that range a little bit.
I contribute the fact that I have the range to like the styles of music I wasn't necessarily limited to as a child. Like my mom played me everything is what I mean to say.
Mhm.
Like I also remember my mom not really knowing the lyrics to, but playing Tina Turner as much as she was playing Elton John and the Beatles, Rolling Stones. But she was also like playing a lot of ranges of Latin music that I think we sometimes sleep on as like a generation. So, like everything from like very Michael Jackson coded pop, but in Spanish.
Mm,
Like I don't think a lot of people understood that existed, but me as a kid hearing it growing up, like I heard the Spanish rock, the Spanish EDM, the Spanish, like everything in Spanish. So it just really opened my mind to think that we could really blend barriers more, and like
mm,
it also helped me study the fact that there's a lot of more similarities between R&B and hip hop and Mexican music than there is differences. So that
right.
really made me open up. Like when Korean music is a blend of R&B and hip hop. We know that. So I feel that if you have a good structure of R&B and hip hop in any way, you can kind of get in where you fit in.
Yeah. And yo, and I'm not counting your pockets, but like, yo, what lane actually was more, what I'm saying, fruitful for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what lane, whether it's K-pop or, everything else you named, like what lane was like, most useful for you?
You know what? Being an artist has been my biggest tool.
Mm.
Because if I was just a songwriter and a producer, I think I would stunt my growth and my pockets. But I think being an artist has given me the ability to turn it on and say, you know what, there's nobody else that can take this chair or fill these shoes. I'm gonna fill them, and I'm gonna do it to my best ability because it's me. So
Yeah.
let's go. You know what I mean? And I think that has a lot to do with like syncs. I have
Mm,
some really big syncs that I've come out with, like including one with Apple for their new iPhone, and
mm,
like those are also amazing ways to fund your business. So
yeah. So what still drives you? And kind of talk about the evolution of Poe Leos. You know what I'm saying? Like, you started, getting attention here, and then you are where you currently at. Like, kind of talk about your evolution in the game.
I feel like the thing that keeps driving me, I think is really the fact that I just like doing this. I think I would do this broke for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
And I'm not speaking that onto me. I'm saying that I'm going for the top, but I'm definitely one of those people who I'm very content in where my life is if I'm able to do what I love every day. Like that is good enough for me to keep going. And I think my evolution has shown that through it all, through the different styles of music and my discovery process as an artist, I think I've remained true to myself and my morals. And I think that's the biggest thing to keep.
yeah. Now I feel you. And you have a very unique voice. You know what I mean? Of course, that's
Thank
what's
you.
gonna separate you from the pack. You know what I'm saying? But like, yo, talk about like your come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what was some of like the biggest challenges you had to face on your ascension out
Um,
here?
So one of my biggest challenges is the fact that I was kind of being overlooked in a way of like, there's a lot of songwriters. There's a lot of people who can do this. What can you do that's different? But like, honestly, me being a person who wants to learn every day, I learned that what's going to make me different is my drive for work. I may not be the person that can just naturally sing on key and like can make the best song ever every single day. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work hard. Like if it was a 9 to 5, but a 12 to 12 or 12, yeah, 24 hours, so I
Yeah,
think if I work that hard, there's something that I can say about myself that I can hold myself proud about is I never gave up, I never slowed down, and I always look forward and think there's something to learn along the way, which brings me to the fact that my biggest thing that has made me stand out was being 100%er, being able to write the record, record the record, make the beat, and potentially give it a little mix. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm doing as good as I am
yeah.
consistently.
So yo, this is probably like your third or fourth time being on 929. You know what I mean? I feel like we family right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ask this question. Like, yo, you a beautiful woman, you know what I'm saying? Like you got your own style. How does somebody get at you? You know what I mean? Like, are you dating or like is that tough? You know what I mean? For like anybody out there that's checking for Poe Leos, yo, you know what I mean? What's the
I'm
scoop?
definitely I'm definitely dating, but I'm definitely private. So I'm
Yeah,
very private about it. It's definitely something I don't want to like really broadcast that like, hey, this girl's out here dating around. What do y'all do? Who wants to get with her? But I'm definitely dating because I'm living my life. I'm a human, and we like to form connections as humans, and
yup.
that's the will of the land. We got to
Hey,
fall in love.
nah, I feel like I'm not doing my job without asking that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody,
Yeah,
we got the googly eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they might be feeling Poe right now. I had to give them the, you know what I mean, inside scoop. You feel me? You know what I mean? But
I'm
like,
dead.
so yo, Mexico, you was born Chicago. Make sure, like, you know what I mean, I'm on point. Mexico, Chicago, Salt Lake, Utah, LA. If I miss something, let me know. But like, kind of talk about the whole culture shock, just jumping from, being wide ranging areas, you know what I mean, that you had
So
done.
so it's actually Mexico, Rockford, Illinois,
Okay,
Salt Lake City, Utah, Las Vegas, LA. Those are the places I've lived.
okay.
And trust me when I say the first move was the worst move from Rockford to Utah. That was the hardest one for me. But everything else along the way has been super easy because I feel like once I was in Utah, I was like closer to the West Coast and
Mm-hmm.
everything just kept going more west. But going all the way from Rockford, Illinois from the Midwest to Utah was like the biggest disconnect of life that I ever experienced. And I was only 12 when it happened. So it was very important, like when you go to the same school with the same people from elementary, middle school to high school, you kind of have like concrete friend groups, or at least people you've known for like years. It's harder because when you move somewhere in the middle of going from elementary to middle school, it's like you don't have nobody in a big sea of people who all got their friend groups made.
Yeah,
So that's actually kind of one of the reasons why I locked in so hard on my work because like it wasn't just like easy for me to like make a bunch of friends. I had a couple and I'll never forget them because they were real ones, but it just felt like I was out the loop. Like everybody was relating on stuff I don't relate to because I'm not from here. So like
mm-hmm.
there was words I was learning, there's things I was seeing. Like maybe even certain racism, like experience that I had never experienced as much in my hometown of Rockford, where it's mostly black and brown people, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that was a big disconnect for me. I realized, oh, they do treat me like an outsider because I'm a Mexican and like, or
Yeah.
what, this and that, you know, they make jokes. So that made me toughen up. And, you know, I realized one thing I'm always grateful for is where I came from, because Rockford really made me who I am. And moving to Vegas was also like a grow up phase where like I'm out the house, I'm paying my rent, like I'm working, I'm singing songs at tables at Mexican restaurants. And I think that made me the hustler I am,
Mm.
you know? And now I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Thank God all of those tools that I've learned come together. And now I'm like the freaking Avengers with all the five little
Yeah.
stones
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
ready for action.
You're able to utilize all that. You feel me? So yeah. So like, yo, you know, let's fast forward to the future. You know what I mean? Like when it's all said and done, what does Poe legacy look like?
My legacy is really important to me. I would love for one day my name to be known as somebody who puts forth the names of other women and pushes forward us to be our own respective entities by ourselves without having to need to co-sign from anybody else, of being able to stand in our truth as women bosses. And I want to open the door for other women behind me that want to be able to do production, engineering, songwriting, anything of the sort. I want to make it available to them, the education behind it all, because I think the availability would really spark the interest and have more artists and creators, you know,
Yeah.
and better quality ones. I think we need the reach. So I want to go to home, like my hometown, both of my hometowns, Rockford and Chihuahua, and like open up maybe something, you know, for us to learn.
Yep. So yo, in fact, you bring it up Chihuahua, like it kind of like sticks with me because like I was just watching an interview with Flavor Flav and he was like, you know, he gave him a whole like history lesson on Chihuahua. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
not just like yo, Flavor Flav for like you know what I'm saying? Like yo,
yeah.
talk about your like relationship with Flavor Flav and just anybody in the game that kind of tutored you and helped you, you know what I mean, along the way of being who you currently are.
I have plenty of people. I mean, it goes from Chris to Ant Live to Flavor Flav. Even Eric B helped in one way or another along the
Eric
way.
B. Rakim?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's
Um,
go.
you know, like due to the circles we were around, me and my manager,
Yeah,
it was very much like 80s hip hop New York, you know?
yeah.
So like I'm like I was always the youngest person in a sea of like grown men, like just
Mm,
hanging out and learning the game, really.
right.
We were learning the game and getting kind of like schooled and like getting connects and things, like they were helping push us forward. And I think Flavor Flav has been one of those people to raise me up.
Mm,
And like I always appreciate that about him. He's like always wanted to say, keep going. You know, you got this. Let's keep going hard. Like I always hear that from Flav. Every phone call, every time I see him, he tells me to keep killing it. Keep going. You
yeah.
got this.
Hey man, I respect Flavor Flav. Yeah, his old show VH1 got mad shorty throwing the box at him. It's crazy to say. So
Yep,
respect
yep,
for
exactly. Exactly. He had
Flav.
it.
Yeah,
He
word.
had it. Yeah.
So yo, I mean, you talk about like all your influences and everybody you kind of rock with. Like, what was the best advice you was given? And then like, what would you, the advice of, excuse me, the best advice you would give anybody just trying to follow Poe Leos footsteps?
My best advice to everybody is to try everything at least once, except for things that may harm you or cause you
Yeah,
to, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
don't do anything that'll harm you guys. But try everything at least once when it comes to expanding your business mentality, when it comes to expanding your talent, try it. Why not? Don't be opposed. And I
Mhm.
think the best advice that I've learned along the way is to treat other people respectfully, because you never know when you're gonna need somebody's help in the future.
Yeah, great advice for real. So like, yo, looking through my notes, I do want to ask this, like anything outside of music, I can see you on the acting screen, and you know what I mean, the silver screen, like anything you see yourself kind of, diving into outside of music.
Maybe one day. I'll hit you back when that happens. But for now, I'm so
Yeah.
locked in and I'm so deep in my mode, I can't even do it.
So yo, let's get back to the Cypress Hill record. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
it's called Run, and just kind of give everybody what to expect, what I mean, when it drops July 24th. So I was like giving the info. I thought because today is April 24th. So I saw the number 24 and I thought it dropped today. And I was mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Well, like,
Oh, you know
talk about
what?
that. Yeah.
I all I can say, guys, is it's gonna be a sick record. I literally, I'm excited to hear it drop myself so I can run it
Yeah.
back a couple of times. You know, it's been a while since I've heard it, but when I first heard the record with them on it, I just know it's big. It's a big record. I hope you guys bump it this summer, and yeah, you know, show us some love. Go
Well,
bump that song and your lowrider.
yeah, all right. Bouncing over here, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
yo, let's talk about how competitive you are. You know, you talk about your influence. You talk about like people who really, you know what I mean? They with it. You know, talk about like your competitive nature in the game. If there is that aspect with you.
There's a competitive nature in me, but I think the competitive nature is with myself because I genuinely don't like to base my life off of other people because I think that limits me already.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm very much a person where like, am I doing better than I did last year? I'm the type of person to go through beats and listen to a beat from last year just to make sure I'm actually growing. You know,
Yeah.
because if not, we got to go back and fix something. Because if we're
Right.
not growing, we're not going. So, and I've always said that. But I think that one of the main things I always do is listen back to old music, and I'm like, damn, like it's shocking. You know, I don't actually I like to sometimes hone in on only my music so that I can listen to everything that I've done and study it instead of playing music on Apple Music and things of that nature. Sometimes I just hone in on myself and I critique myself in the best ways possible. Still healthy, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
keep my mind open, but I try to compete with myself every time.
Yeah, and you know what I mean, as an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're probably your own worst critic. But like how receptive are you to like, you know, outside criticism? Like, cause like in your mind, you're like, I want to do this, I'm shooting for this. But then like you got that circle around you, it's like, yo, that ain't it. Or this is it. And you might think, you just motherfucker. I'm about to cut.
Let me tell you
You know what
something.
I'm saying?
I was taught to have discernment, and
Mhm.
my discernment comes with the ability to know when somebody's just saying something to say something,
Yeah,
or somebody's saying something to build you up.
right.
And using that discernment, I critique what critiques I take.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna critique your critique back, but and don't get offended because I am
right.
an artist. This is my art. You know,
Hmm.
it's like you don't even know what I was going for, so why are you critiquing it? You know what I'm saying? You didn't know what I
Yeah.
had in my mind
Yeah.
sometimes, but I do. I am open to anything that will better a record, especially because like when it comes to records, we never know who's gonna bring the record to the end goal.
Mhm.
You know, it could be
Yeah.
anybody in the room.
Yeah, because like a lot of people like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm sensitive about my music, don't play with my art. But then at the same time, you know what I'm saying? You don't be like, you know, oblivious neither. You know what I'm saying? You still want to keep that, you know what I mean? That groundness to the, you know what I mean, the streets and, you know,
Yeah,
what people really feel about your music. You know what I'm saying? So that was tough.
exactly. It's always being humble too. There's
Yeah.
always room to grow.
Yeah. So, we about 4 months, maybe 5 months into 2026. What is 2026 and 2027 looking like for Poe Leos? I'm gonna cue up your records as you answer this, you know what I'm saying? Like what's on deck?
Man, guys, this 2026, 2027 year is gonna be crazy. It's like our hometown, like our homecoming game. Like we're gonna go crazy, and we're really gonna show a lot of new sides of my music. We're gonna be dropping consistently, me along with Cartel Music, K Music, who have been supporting me a lot in the long run. So we're gonna see a lot of new features coming out. I'm excited to see that, and hopefully another Grammy because
Oh,
we indeed
oh, matter of fact,
have
no, no, he
a
said another. You said
no,
another
no,
Grammy.
no.
No, no, no. I'm on the Grammy committee. I'm somewhere with the Grammy where I can go to him. No, no, we're not gonna gloss over that, Poe. Like, yo, talk about, you know what I mean, your Grammys. You know what I mean? You getting awards over here. Talk about that, man. We ain't gonna let
You
that
know,
slide.
shout out Duran Bernard for letting me be on that album because without
Oh,
him, there would
okay.
be no award. There would be
Yeah,
nothing. But also shout out to Stanley Randolph for bringing me in the room and keeping me in his thoughts when they asked him who he wanted in that room. He
yeah.
said me. So because of them, we are where we are today. I'm gonna order my certificate when we get off this phone call, actually, and
Nah, but you gonna get a trophy though? You ain't gonna get the
no,
joint you
we
get your
get the
guy?
certificate. Less
Ah,
than
hey,
fifty
yo.
percent producers and artists get certificate.
Nah, cause like yo, me being part of the Recording Academy, yo, I'm gonna make sure we gotta change that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get that
You
joint you
know,
can drink out the
you
cup, you know
know.
what I mean?
Yep.
Yo, matter of fact,
Next time.
talk about your chops. I see the you know what I mean, the guitar in the background and all that. Like, yo, is that just for like, you know what I mean, looks and all that, or you actually play that? You pull it off the wall right now.
I play guitar and bass. I can't take that one off the wall right now because I'm actually at somebody else's spot. But I
Okay.
really would, and I would
My bad,
prove
I
it
mean
to
blow
you
you
right
up.
now. I
Yeah.
really will prove it to you right now, but I can't.
I believe you. I believe you. But yo,
Yeah.
I might have asked this at like the beginning of the interview, but I'm gonna ask again on the tail end. Like, yo, any plans come back to London? You know what I'm saying? We love having you here. You gotta get back out here. Even if you gotta go to New York, whatever, you take a little, you know what I mean, hour and a half trip down here. Poe, you already know. You know what I'm saying? Number below here, man. When you getting back down to CT?
I don't know yet, man. I don't have a date for you. I'm so sorry.
It's
I
with
play probably soon though. I don't
I
know.
we'll
Yeah.
take soon, you know what I mean? Put that pressure on you live on air. But like anything else you want to say to the people, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm queuing your records up. And please don't hang up after we wrap this interview up. Cause like, yo, it's a damn shame. Like, yo, we ain't get no drop from you yet, or nothing like that. Maybe we did, but I don't know. Lost the translation. But
Okay.
we gonna get that. You know what I mean? But like, yo, just tell everybody what's going on while I queue up your records.
Oh man. Hopefully soon you guys will catch me out there in New London, and I plan on showcasing everything that is the Mexican community. And I hope you guys enjoy this new record. And yeah, it's going up.
Hey, yo, Shanice. On the spot, yo, we got Poe still here. Yo, ask Poe a question on the spot real quick. You got anything for Poe? Hang on one second. She pulling up. Anything you want to ask Poe real quick?
Yo,
What is the biggest experience and growth for you since you've been here the last times? I know we got our Grammy finally. I know we've been recognized as a writer. I know we've been recognized as a traditional Mexicana artist. I know we've been recognized as everything that we recognize. Them goals are being crossed, our checks are being
thank you.
checked. But for you, my love, what is the biggest thing that you can say is the biggest goal that you have accomplished?
Oh man, I think the goal is to never stop. So I feel like my biggest goal is that this year I stepped out and I showed up for myself and I put that hard work in and I really solidified what it is that I want to represent with my music. I think that was really important for me because before I was just making records to make them, but now I know why I'm making records and I have a purpose. So I think it's aligned.
Right, right. I just want to say, after like, okay, we've been connected for the past, I want to say 5 years. But for me, looking at your past 2 years, the music that you have been making, I feel like it's your home for you. And you're
Thank
finally
you.
somewhere where you feel at peace and you're happy. You can see the transition in your face from then and now to
Thank you.
how the happiness is fulfilling you. And girl, that's so inspiring. Keep that faith
Thank
with
you.
you. Keep persevering. Don't let them doors close again. Like you got your foot on the gas.
Period.
Yes.
Period. Exactly.
Well,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And not only are, listen, you guys, the pen game is serious, okay? Okay, the pen game is
she check all
insane.
boxes, like all genres. She over there making K-pop music. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
uh,
screaming. Yeah.
hey
I
yo,
appreciate
Poe.
you guys so much.
Hey yo, Poe. Hang on for 1 second. We gonna play. We gonna start off with the Wild record. Matter of fact, like you collab with that record. Talk about them. They was on like Wild and Out. Like talk about that record real quick.
Yeah, I mean, Lookalike is my label mates, and they're really
Mm-hmm.
dope. They're twins from Mississippi, and I work
Mm-hmm.
with them on everything pretty much. If you go check the songs that they've dropped, I
All right.
produced most of them. So, yeah,
Ooh.
we've been working together since day one, and I had them hop on that song so that we can really showcase the bridge. You know, the bridge is English and Spanish music.
Yep. So now, thank you, Poe. Hang on 1 second. We gonna get to that Wild record. We gonna three-peat it. Wild, you know what I mean? Live Vic Tommy. I'm gonna mess it up. Live Partes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I look Spanish. I don't know how to say stuff in Spanish, right? But yeah, we gonna get into this. You know what I'm saying? Now to now, you heard? Hey, Poe, just one quick just drop